A while back, there was a comment on one of the most popular videos I've made talking about how to write better for every situation. Writing itself is not a hard task. You type away whatever you need to and then close off for the day. In that specific comment I saw, it was all about how writing works, and it's a skill you need to hone in and get better at. My issue is there's a way to not only improve on that skill without being a master. If you're struggling with writing, here's what to do. If you don't know me, I'm Arnel Arcega. I'm one of the healthiest writers you will ever encounter. As an author, writer, and motivator, I make sure people stay on this path of reading and writing, and I will improve on their lives all through the Instagram down below. With that help, I'm also building a community that will take a little while to get around, but if you're interested in that, keep on checking these videos out and let me help you with what I can with writing and reading. Let's talk about how to write bad. Writing bad is a topic in which you can just write anything horribly. There's plenty of ways to think about writing as a bad thing, especially if you're struggling with writing. Most cases indicates things such as not complete books. In the case of how fiction works, there's plenty of details that we struggle with. In that case, we also look into how writing affects the way we think about the things we do in our lives. Recently, I've been going back to this journal I've been working on. It's been one where I can allow myself to share the goals and information I want from the information I get. To improve your own writing, you need to understand the difference between bad and good writing. Journaling is one of my favorite ideas in which I can just talk about anything, and that alone helps me understand what bad writing is. Bad writing can be seen as something similar to educational writing, and the fact that we don't honestly mean what we say. We see this a lot, especially now with AI and social media. Most cases of AI having to deal with the fact that we simply can't come up with our own ideas. I talk with people trying to understand writing as a whole, not just from an average viewer, but also from someone who's been working on it for years. And the difference between both is crazy. The biggest key to bad writing and the struggling battle between what's good and what's bad is the perspective. That is where journaling comes in. I've been journaling this thought for quite a while now. It's been one I've been thinking about for a couple months now, and I can finally discuss it in this video. Bad writing allows us to see the good and the bad. For those struggling with writing like you yourself, the viewer, you can understand that what's good and what's bad is a subjective take that will matter. In a lot of cases, objectively good writing has good grammar and good structure. In most cases, writing is that way. This is easy because we have things like Google Docs, Word docs, and even AI to some degree allowing us to fix up our own writing. With many perspectives, we can see the problems that lie ahead. I know many of my viewers struggle with how to write a good book or even just a good writing project. And for those, whether you're in school or not, this is a good point to understand, as the difference between bad writing and good writing is the sheer perspective of it all. So how do we improve our own perspective so that we could improve on our writing? This is where the next point, progressive overload, comes in. If you are struggling with writing, the biggest thing I can honestly insist on is to write consistently. Like a journal, you need to improve on what you say and what you do. Expand your vocabulary and, for lack of a better term, just continue evolving what you can interpret. For those who've written some sort of piece, whether it's a book or poem, you know that a lot of those types of formats take tons of experience to gather. And it's many cases like those that often lead people to not write books or projects in the first place. But with this channel trying to educate people to not only read, but also write their own stories, it will matter in the fact that what you say will determine how well that book is. To progressively overload, it's a gym term that I've been using that allows you to write more consistently. You write a small amount the first couple using the vocabulary you already know. From there, start improving on the areas that you can. Start elevating certain areas of your own writing, and like a feather to a quill, you just have to keep on writing even more than you already did. I remember reading this article about Stephen King and how he's written tens of thousands of words per day. He started with a couple thousand, and by the end of the month, he'd be writing 10,000s into the 20K sets of words per week. And it's insane how crazy that difference can make. The more you improve on your writing, even if you're struggling, the key to improving on it isn't just improving on the grammar or the vocabulary in it. Instead, what you need to do is write more than you can. For those who are in school and using this video as a way to get better for their schoolwork, there's also a way of educating yourself so that you can do writing better. In most cases, such as essays or whatever thing you're trying to set up for a writing project, you have to gain the experience that is. And to gain that experience, you need to write a whole lot more than you ever set up to be. So how do you write more on top of what you're already writing? You already understand what bad writing is, and you know that to improve on your own writing, you need to encourage yourself to write more consistently. The third point I want to elevate, especially when talking about those struggling with writing, is nurture your nature. This is a term coined by me in which you take your own environment, take the space you're living in, the bed you're reading on, and use that to your best ability. I've been recently doing these polls how to improve on your own areas of life, in most cases like books and reading. If you want to check out those polls, you can check it out after this video, but the most recent one helped the making of this video especially. I'm telling you, those who want to improve on their own lives need to fix their own issues that's coming along with it. And the more habits you build on top of improving this said nature, the nature of yourself, by nurturing that aspect, you will not only become a better writer, but a more careful and considerate person with how you think about words. I know that the best writing I've ever done, whether it is schoolwork or my own books, are determined by the writing you see. And you could see this a lot, especially in my books, which you can check in the top link of the description. Those who have read it see the difference and the perspectives that come with it. Again, while it takes tons of months and even years to build the best kind of writing you can, you have been writing for quite a while now. Even if you are still in school, you have been writing for a good notion of your life. And that alone should keep the information you get importance. How you determine that writing will be determined by itself the area of life you are at. Every 6 months, you continue to improve on life if you are a current viewer of this channel. And for those who are new to this, you can change your life and the way you write and read words more effectively simply by changing the areas. If you need help in focusing on those specific areas, the 3 areas I suggest that will not only shift your writing to be better, but will also be more careful and considerate is to sleep more, eat more, and write more. It sounds simple, but again, it takes a while to adjust and always start small like we said in progressive overload. Like that gym term, start small with what you can work on for that day and improve each and every day to each and every week so that not only your writing will be more effective, but will also be more effective in the months. Now, this is the final point I want to bring up for those who have followed that path before. For those who have been working on their writing projects, books, or even information that they've gathered for a good while, how do we then write good? Going back to the beginning, this is one of those where it takes tons of perspective. How we view our own writing will not only shape the way we read it, but also how it will look like from the inside and out. That will determine what determines a good book. It's convoluted and it's a mess. But in terms of just writing, to write good, you have to write bad. And to write bad, you have to do the habits you do more consistently. It's a circle that goes around and around. And those who want to write better need to write more. The more you write, the better you will educate your mind. I'm telling you, this path will not only shape the way you think about things, but will also affect the way you see the world in a much more grand and more fashionable sense. With how often our world is, we need to separate ourselves from a lot of the average people. Those who don't choose to read, those who don't choose to write. And for those who want to improve their own lives, it comes with reading and writing too. The more educated you are, the better. That's how history's shown it. With the average person doing less and less of that educating, it's important to see what we can do with what we gather. And that alone will determine what makes a good piece of writing, what makes a good piece of book, and how you can write using all these empty pages we still have left to determine a better story for yourself. Continue reading and writing. That's what I strive for, and I want you to improve on all those areas, most specifically just eating and writing more, all in the case of work. Check out my books in the top link of the description, along with my Instagram and other socials. Until next time, keep on reading, keep on writing, and take care.